Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All today's guests, including Farhan, standing by, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants, celebrating anniversary 25. The G-Men at the LEC for a pair of games this weekend. Saturday, they take on Kelowna, the Rockets. Puck drop at Adam Foote's old team. Puck drop at 7 p.m. And Sunday, Prince George is in town. Puck drop at 4. And a reminder, fans can take to the ice post-game to skate with the Giants. Visit VancouverGiants.com for ticket info. BC Lions taking on the Stampeders Saturday. BC plays 2:30 start against the Calgary Stampeders. As I mentioned, CFL West Semi-Final. Here to talk about that and all matters sport is from TSN, Farhan Lalji. Farhan, thanks for doing this, sir. Go Jays go, right?
Yeah, thankfully Rick's not wearing that ridiculous Jays jersey he wore last week. He's wearing a much better, more classy shirt, attire, what have you this week.
I mentioned in the previous segment that yourself, myself, Ryan, we're not fans of the Blue Jays. Maybe the only 3 people in Canada who aren't fans of the Blue Jays right now.
No, there's tons of media members. There's I think the big thing that surprised me the most is when I put up this video a while back about my Mariner fandom and whatnot. Just the amount of Mariner fans that reached out. I think I've said before, is it 50-50? No, but it's more than people think. And look, if the Jays are going to win it, I hope they win it in Game 6 and don't force us to deal with a Game 7 on Saturday when the Lions are playing a much more important event locally. Otherwise, if they go to 7, hopefully the Dodgers win. But if the Jays are going to win, hopefully they can just get it done sooner and not bother us on the weekend.
With the Lions and other events in mind. But I was going to say that you might not be a fan, but you have to be impressed what the Blue Jays are up to.
I haven't watched a second of it. I haven't watched literally not one pitch. When the Mariners lost in Game 7, the baseball season was over. I have no desire to watch. And look, if I don't watch any game that doesn't involve the Mariners during the regular season, why would I watch during the plaplayoffs?
Because you work for a sports network, and now you're a sports guy.
Baseball. Yes, I'm a Mariner fan. I don't cover baseball. I don't have to watch more. It's all I can do to watch Stanley Cup playoff hockey when the Canucks are out. So I'm believe me, not watching baseball is not a chore. It's easy. I don't want to hate watch. That takes too much energy. So I'd rather just look. I know what's happening. I know the final outcome of the games. I'm not telling you I've completely closed my eyes to even the scores, but I haven't watched a single pitch.
You know what? A couple of years from now, when you get a big offer from Sportsnet, from Rogers, you'll be on this show talking about, I love the Blue Jays. I watch hockey in Canada all the time.
But that's the whole point. You would have to pay me.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
After that, look, you pay me, I'll talk about whatever you want. I'll come out and watch Quins hockey games. I'll do whatever you need as long as you're paying the bills.
Are we paying Farhan for this? I can't remember. Okay, Lions host Calgary 2:30. BC plays CFL West Semi-Final. BC 2-0 against the Stamps in the regular season. Outscored them badly in both games. And they recently won 2 West Semi-Finals against Calgary. Should they be worried about the law of averages?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they should assume, and I don't think BC does assume this, but I don't think fans should assume that this is going to be easy because they won 2, they can win 3. Winning 3 is a difficult thing to do, right? I mean, when they played them the last time, the final game of the regular season, it meant nothing to the Lions, and Calgary came in here and really put a beating on BC before BC won the next game, the playoff game. But, it's all about process. They've followed kind of a similar script in the first 2 games. They got out to an early lead. They took away the deep ball from Vernon Adams. And if you can do that again, you've got a chance to beat this team. But I also think that Calgary's going to make even a bigger focus on their run game and not put the ball entirely in Vernon's hands and really, really force the Lions to deal with Dedrick Mills, who's been really good, right? And in the second game, he averaged over 12 yards a carry against BC, but he only got 7 carries because BC had a lead. So that's the formula. BC's got to take away the deep ball from Vernon. They've got to get out to a lead, because if you can get out to a lead, then you might not have to see as much of Dedrick Mills.
Farhan, Nathan Rourke said this morning on a podcast, and maybe the podcast was a day or 2 old, that he's not going to try the NFL again. I mean, 2 things. That's great for the BC Lions. But also, that just tells you a little bit about how badly he thought he was treated down south.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a bitterness that he left with and an appreciation for this league. I mean, as much as he had success in 2022, I think he appreciates the league, the people, the meaning a lot more than he ever did. And I think, do I think Nathan Rourke would try the NFL again? I do. But like, I think you'd need a Godfather offer, right? Like, he'd need a big signing bonus and someone to absolutely guarantee him that the number 2 job in an organization was his. Like, not that he's got to compete with it because he got lied to by Jacksonville, right? But every time someone brought him in and pumped his tires and then didn't give him an opportunity, I think those were tough moments for him. So I still think there's some bitterness there. But look, if he wins a bunch of Grey Cups and wins a bunch of MOPs, might he want that itch scratched at some point? Maybe. But again, it would have to take a lot. So if you think he's just going to win the MOP and all of a sudden take a shot again this offseason, I don't think that's going to happen. He understands what it looks like down there, and it's going to have to be an entirely different message and opportunity if 3 years down the road or something like that, that someone wanted to come at him. But yeah, it's good. He appreciates this more than he ever has.
Hey, let's go to the Canucks. 8 injuries. That's a lot to sustain. I mean, 3 or 4, okay, and it's got the ramifications. Abbotsford's really bad too. There's 8 injuries. It's tough to win in the National Hockey League without that many regulars. I mean, bottom line.
Well, bottom line, but Rick, if they were all healthy, we had concerns about the Canucks going into the year, right? Like we thought, okay, this is a maybe playoff team if everybody is healthy. And then when they won those 3 games on the road, Philip Hedl was in all of those games, right? And then he's injured and things change, and I'm not blaming the center ice position for all of it, but that's an issue because he had value. If you ask me who the best Canuck forward has been for the first half of the season, I think it's Connor Garland, and then they lose him, and then you lose Quinn Hughes, and Quinn hasn't necessarily been as elite as he was earlier in his career in terms of just how much he tilts the ice when he's on the ice, but still the Canuck best defenseman, and that part of his game is going to come. So they haven't lost just anybody. I mean, last year they were dealing with Thatcher Demko being out, and Pettersson at various times, but this is entirely different for a team that was a borderline team to begin with. The fact that they're 5-6 right now, and people have asked me, what's Adam Foote supposed to do? Adam Foote's supposed to dumb it down, right? And so the low event hockey that you saw against the Rangers is probably what you're going to need to see more of because they're not equipped to do more than that. So tough situation, no doubt, especially for a rookie head coach.
JT Miller returns Tuesday, gets a video tribute and a standing ovation. Did you expect anything less, Farhan?
Yeah, it was kind of the way I thought, right? That early on he got a few boos when he touched the puck, but then he was going to feel that ovation, and everybody else was going to show that he was an important part of this organization since he's been here. So but ultimately JT Miller was invisible in the hockey game, right? It was Thomas Drance wrote an article about how this was the trade that both teams lost. And you can certainly make that case because the Canucks don't have what they need down the middle. And, isn't it weird how when the biggest need in the National Hockey League league-wide was right shot defenseman when the Canucks needed one, now they're good there. And the biggest need in the league-wide is second-line centers, and now they don't have one of those, right? So, the way the crowd reacted, all of that was expected, and Miller was quiet, and so was his opponents.
Okay, back to the CFL for a second. I think we always ask you this going into the CFL playoffs. I know your favorite team is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They're in tough. They're in Montreal, the crossover game. Do you have a Grey Cup favorite?
I think Montreal's coming out of the East, and I'm hedging between Saskatchewan and BC in the West. I think Winnipeg's going to lose this week. I think their number's finally up, and Davis Alexander is right there with Nathan Rourke. They're the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. Davis, of course, has missed most of the season, but when he's on, he's going to be pretty tough to beat. So I think they'll come out of it, and we'll see. Look, BC showed when they went into Saskatchewan, even against a not healthy Saskatchewan team, that Saskatchewan's pretty tough. So I'm not sure BC can win a West Final there. But, when you have Nathan, you got a puncher's chance. And definitely Montreal, Saskatchewan was my preseason Grey Cup pick. So I'm going to stay with that. But I do give the Lions a shot if they can get through this week.
I know you've been saying for a long time, and you've been bang on about Davis Alexander and the Alouettes. I think a lot of people got to watch out for that team.
One of these days, Rick's going to listen to me that I know what I'm talking about.
You love Winnipeg. You jumped on their bandwagon. Now you're jumping off theirs now because they're crappy. You're the biggest bandwagon jumper in the world.
And
One bandwagon, I will never touch the Eastern baseball team.
Says the guy with the BC Lions golf shirt on. Thanks for this, Farhan. Appreciate
See you, boys.
that.
Hopefully I see you both Saturday in your usual VIP suite.
Yeah, you'll be in the one next to us.
Done.
Thanks, Farhan. Appreciate it.